This is Jarod, Hector, live at the Barclays Center, and I'm here with my CLNS Media colleague,
Yes.
Josue Pavon.
Yes.
We just witnessed the second game of a home-and-home where the Nets exacted a little bit of revenge, and they had that
Definitely.
victory against the Boston Celtics, 112-107. One of the big keys of the game was Spencer Dinwiddie, 32 points, 11 assists, 5 rebounds. You and I talked at halftime about the Nets and what's going to happen in the second half.
You looked at me like I was saying, like I was talking another language when I said, yo, Dinwiddie could be that guy to go off, all right? All right? This is the game. This is the kind of game where you can see that happen. That's exactly what happened, right? Second half, I mean, to the Nets' credit, defensively, they put the Celtics in a tough spot in the second half. That third quarter throughout the season has been the quarter for them to usually turn things around after the slow start, which has unfortunately been a pattern as well for the Celtics team. But that's exactly what the Nets needed, just that one guy to put them over the edge. And that, of course, was Spencer, man. Unbelievable job. Of course, his teammates as well really got it going from behind the arcs. 10 three-pointers in that first half. Huge. It made all the difference.
It was big.
Against the Celtics team that really needed someone like Jason Tatum or Kemba Walker to get going in that fourth quarter. You saw spurts of that, right? A little bit. Just couldn't get over the hump, though.
Yeah, and Spencer talked about it post-game, right? He said, it's not so much about what I do offense, what I do on defense. It's about what's the game plan and can we execute it? And he talked about that post-game.
Ask the questions.
Honestly, Shump's energy and DJ's energy are contagious. Their in locker room presence is very similar to like Theo's dancing. So it's great. All right. Well, except when they're clowning me, but
Speaking of energy, you didn't seem to want to play this morning according to Twitter, or you weren't happy about that?
no, I was just saying, like, after Thanksgiving, y'all didn't have to do it. It's like the whole leftovers, you know what I'm saying? Like, you eat like 3 or so, feel me? And then, like, you're going to eat again like 8, right? Usually, typically, something like that. Like, now I got to be like, hey, guys, nah, don't pass the primary, pass the salad. Like, on Thanksgiving, I don't want to do that.
Spencer, just 36 hours removed from the first game. What do you think the biggest difference was with you guys today versus Wednesday's game?
I mean, obviously we got more stops. We held them to 90-something, right? So it's under 100. Anytime we do that, we have a chance to win the game. That's kind of the hallmark of our group. Right now, when we kind of went on this run, we've been able to hold teams right around the 100-point mark. And then, Garrett Temple, Joe Harris, Torian Prince are doing a great job shooting the ball. Jay crashed to the rim, getting lobs and dunks and all that stuff.
Spencer, in what ways do you think you're a better player this season than you were last season?
Just continuing to progress every year. I actually haven't shot the 3 better than I did to start last year, so that's something that I'd like to do better.
The bigger role, starting rather than coming off the bench, is that forced a change in your mindset?
Well, I mean, yeah, the role's completely different, so obviously there's a change there. My approach to the game is very similar either way. It's just whatever the team needs to win, and then, the role kind of dictates what that is. Sometimes it's going to be defense, sometimes offense. I mean, today, they wanted me to be really aggressive guarding Kemba, trying to deny him the ball and stuff like that, and so that actually spurred a couple of the first buckets. It wasn't even, me having a particular, offensive game plan or something like that.
Have you begun to talk?
Right, so Josue, Spencer really was key and critical for the Nets, but more so, I thought specifically, was their defensive effort. This was the best game the Nets played beginning to end, 48 minutes of solid defense. And it started at the point of attack with guys like Dinwiddie and Harris and Shumpert out on the perimeter.
Yeah, and especially in the paint as well. Kemba Walker had a tough time getting those layups to convert. Jason Tatum did as well, especially those 2 back-to-back plays, which I thought were both fouls, but either way, I mean, those are the kind of plays that they needed to sort of push them over the hump, get that 3-point play, get that momentum. Celtics never really grabbed it. They did manage to grab their first lead of the night in the second half, but it was 1 point. It was short-lived, and they just never got back into the swing of things. I would love to see them just get the ball going more, from the perimeter. You want to see more of those 3-point shots.
Absolutely.
But they couldn't get those as fall as well. So much credit to the Brooklyn Nets, man. They really made the Celtics uncomfortable from the perimeter to inside, and especially in transition. These guys are getting back. Of course, it starts with their big man, with Jarod. Jarod Allen, of course, was the anchor. He's been the anchor for this team, but the other guys as well also stepped up, especially defending the wing.
Yeah, so one of the big things the Nets did was they looked at the tape from Wednesday where Kemba Walker had a ridiculous game. He had 38 points. He went off. They made a slight adjustment. They stayed higher on the pick and roll, so they took away the 3-point three-point shot from him. They gave up some layups at the rim because that happens, right?
Yeah.
But they crowded him at the three-point line, forced him to give the ball up and make him take tough three-point shots.
Right.
And that was huge for them on their defensive efforts. And every time the Celtics made a little bit of a run in the third and even in that fourth quarter, the Nets came up with a huge steal at the right moment just to stop and stem the tide and continue the game forward.
Right, and I thought a lot of those unanswered points by the Celtics really put them in that deep, deep hole, especially with the double-digit deficit in the fourth quarter. They still had plenty of time to pull off the comeback, but of course, those defensive stops in the last couple of minutes by the Brooklyn Nets made all the difference.
It was huge. Jarod Allen, DeAndre Jordan, again, Garrett Temple was very aggressive at the point of attack. Those guys were all huge for the Nets. And look, this is a big win for a team that is playing without, as we know, Kyrie Irving, without Caris LeVert. Of course, Kevin Durant's out for the entire season. So this is a very big character-building win for this team against Boston Celtics. Might be the best team in the East, at least they are record-wise, right? Or right up there with Milwaukee. So I think a huge win and a huge step in the right direction for Kenny Atkinson and their crew as they build momentum going forward.
No question. If you're the Brooklyn Nets right now, you're feeling very confident to pull off a win like this against the Boston Celtics without Kyrie Irving. You know, those back-to-back sets are really interesting because you really learn a lot about your opposing team, right? You know, and of course you see the adjustments that they made, the way that they defended Kemba Walker, of course, made a humongous difference. And you look forward to the next time these two teams face each other.
Absolutely.
Maybe Kyrie Irving's in the lineup, maybe not, but either way, all drama aside, I really like when these two teams go at it, Jarod. I really do.
No, listen, the Nets and the Celtics, I think, are going to be among the better rivals in the Atlantic Division and in the Eastern Conference
For sure.
for years to come, as it seems with the teams as they're constructed right now. So, again, this is the Brooklyn Nets beat the Garden Report crossover edition.
I like it.
Here at the Barclays Center. Again, the Brooklyn Nets defeat the Boston Celtics 112-107. For Josue Pavon, I'm Jarod Hector, CLNS Media.